The Dreaming City is a place completely void of any sort of guidance whatsoever, with a bunch of activities to do within it. So, what the hell is actually going on in there, and what do I do? That is what I hope to cover in this first video discussing the Dreaming City. This place is massive, and I'm going to apologize ahead of time because this is for the first week of the Dreaming City, and there's a chance that some of these things may be slightly different since the Dreaming City is supposed to change from week to week on a 3-week cycle. I would have gotten this out faster, but as you'll see, there's a lot of stuff. Now, while in my leveling video I said that there didn't appear to be much rhyme or reason to powerful rewards, we've now learned that the Dreaming City rewards will give a greater boost compared to other powerful rewards. Once you hit 520 power, your rewards from stuff like 3 strikes, 5 crucible matches, etc. will not be as powerful, but Dreaming City items will offer that greater boost. Petra is your main vendor, and she has daily and weekly bounties. The daily bounties mainly consist of easy to do things: complete public events, collect planetary materials, kill enemies, stuff like that. There's a weekly powerful reward bounty that requires 8 dailies to be completed, and Petra also gives a powerful drop when you complete 3 of those weekly bounties. The other 3 weekly bounties that we know of are essentially do an Ascendant challenge, do a bunch of blind well, and give the Oracle an offering. The Oracle offering is a reward from doing the do a lot of blind well weekly bounty. All bounties cost Glimmer, except for the Gateway Between Worlds, aka Do Blind Well bounty, which cost 40 Dark Fragments. Dark Fragments are found by doing secret chests, doing Blind Well, patrols, and a couple of other things. The first major thing to cover in the Dreaming City is the Blind Well, which is Forsaken's major public event area, and here's how it works. There are 4 tiers of difficulty, scaling up by 20, starting from 520. The higher the tier, the harder the place is. What you need to do is travel from well to well, defeating enemies while essentially holding the zone. Touch of the Sky is a buff that you get from being inside of a safe area, which will protect you from damage in the outside area, which is basically everywhere that isn't a well. The buff only lasts 5 seconds though. During this encounter, you will have Servants of the Plague that will spawn, but they will be immune at the start. You need to kill anathemas, which will drop harmony orbs when they are killed. The harmony buff allows you to take the shield off of servants so that your team can damage them. The servant will drop multiple harmony orbs when killed. Not only does harmony protect you outside of the current well area, it will give you extremely fast supercharge. So you're going to go from well to well until you get to the final boss, or bosses, where the Servant of the Plague mechanic works the same way. The bosses will be covered by a shield, and you need harmony in order to get rid of that shield. You get harmony from killing anathemas. Higher tier means more enemies and more bosses to kill. At the moment, rewards appear to be more attached to bounties than the actual event, with a Clear of the Well giving you a chest that can give more charges of light to activate the Blind Well, Dark Fragments, Glimmer, materials, and some blues, which are soft-capped items. The Do a Lot of Blind Well bounty is percentage-based. A Tier 1 well will give you 10% of that bounty, a Tier 2 20%, and so on. Again, this bounty gets you the Oracle offering, which you turn in at what I'm calling the Oracle Temple in the Spine of Keres, which is northwest of the Devalian Mists. The following clip is the route on how to get there. There's also a daily bounty that requires 15 servant kills, which will take you a couple of well runs to complete at the least. After turning in an offering to the Oracle, you'll be granted a Purification bounty, which requires you to do a high-level activity or a high-difficulty challenge. It'll award you with the Transcendent Blessing mod, which is a mod that boosts your damage similar to the Riven's Curse mod found in Reverie Gear, which is found in the Dreaming City, minus the negative effect. Moving on to the Ascendant challenge. The first challenge we saw was located in the Lost Sector next to Petra Venge, and I'm sure more challenges will appear in other locations on a week-to-week basis. For example, this video is coming out on the start of week 2, and week 2's challenge is in a different location. In order to get into the challenge, you first need to chug a Tincture of Queensfoil, which enables you to see hidden things in the Dreaming City for 30 minutes. areas with a challenge active will display some text that says the seam between realities grows weaker. Anyway, for week 1's challenge, which is in the Aphelion's Rest Lost Sector, you'll enter the Lost Sector, and about halfway through, you'll eventually see a giant portal. You need to kill 4 Blights in the area, and then kill the small crystals in the middle of the room. You'll have Shadow Thrall chasing you, and giant Hive Knights with axes chasing you the entire time. That is basically the entire challenge. Kill the Blights and then kill the crystals. My biggest recommendation, keep moving. Keep moving around the area non-stop. Don't lose your radar, because after you kill the Blights, the portal to the Ascendant Plane disappears from the Lost Sector, and you'll need to redo the whole thing to go back in if you die. At the end, you'll be rewarded with some Reverie armor and fragments. There are also some Taken-looking crystals in the area, among other areas, but their use is unknown right now. When you shoot them, they say immune, and the current theory is that you need a full Reverie set of armor with Transcendent Blessing mods in every slot, but that is unconfirmed at the moment. This week's challenge, week 2, is located in the Garden of Esila, which is south of the Strand. When you're in the main area of the garden, go off to the left and you should see a portal on the left side cliff edge behind a rock formation. This challenge is where you need to run and drop in 3 arc charges in the center of the arena, and then kill 3 of the giant knights. These arc charges are placed at the very outskirts of the map. You'll need to do a lot of running. You do not need to kill the Taken Blights, but they will slow you down if you run into them. When you have a charge and go to the middle, 4 Taken Phalanx will spawn around where you need to drop the ball. Yeah, that's fun. If killing 3 of those knights sounds like a pain, don't worry too much, because after you drop the 3 charges in the middle, a Boundless Light node will spawn, giving you non-stop supers to kill the knights. This is soloable, but with enemies at 550 power, you may want to bring some friends, because everything in this place hurts pretty bad. At least as of the making of this video, it does. Since this was not in a Lost Sector this time, I suspect that this thing will have multiple random locations in the coming weeks. So again, pop a Queensfoil and look for the message in the lower left to see if you are close. That Tincture of Queensfoil will also open up the entirety of the Dreaming City to secret things. Mainly a lot of platforming right now. Nothing major appears to have been found yet. Also, when you drink one, if you have any Reverie armor, it will show up as having a Taken-like effect on your character. It's pretty neat. It is a somewhat rare, but not too rare of a drop from the Blind Well, Lost Sectors, Heroic Public Events, and Chests. Basically, do stuff in the Dreaming City, and you should get some. Next up, we have the Arc Charge Riddle Chests. There is 1 chest per area that requires 3 Arc Charges in order to open. The rewards from this chest aren't anything crazy though, just some dark fragments, but if you know the Arc locations, they're somewhat quick to do. I will show you guys the locations of all the Arc Charges really quickly here. Going to do them picture in picture to have this go by a little bit faster. These are the routes to take to get the charges from the chest itself.
Could use a hand.
Ascendant Chests are next. There are 10 of these scattered throughout the Dreaming City and require a Queensfoil drink in order to see them. Inside of those chests are dark fragments, and getting all 10 of them is a triumph. I will have another video showing off all of the locations of these chests because there's 10 of them, and I want to get through this video today. Next up, we have the cats, cat statues. Scattered throughout the Dreaming City are, well, little cat statues. If you give them a gift, literally a small gift, they will give you an item. However, after you give them an item, they will disappear. A small gift is a weekly item drop from general events in the Dreaming City. There are 8 of these dudes, and I will show the locations of all of them in another video, much like the 10 Ascendant Chests, because I want this video to be over today. Next up, random small taken blights have a chance of spawning in the Dreaming City. What you're going to do is you're going to shoot at it a lot until a boss pops out, and then you're going to kill that boss, and you're going to get some triumph points. That's all that appears to be going on with that for now. The worms are up next. There is a chest in the Garden of Esila that is blocked from being opened until you kill 10 worms that are scattered throughout the area. The garden is south of the Strand. There are about 20 potential spawn locations for the worms, give or take, and every time you visit the area, the worms may spawn in different locations. Instead of attempting to make a video of every single potential worm location, I've included a map that Reddit users Exophiler and Smalls the Ghost have created, which also shows off a lot of other locations of other things on the map. Next up, the Heroic Public Event. There is one public event that is unique to the Dreaming City where you need to keep the core defended, the Rift Generator. Place arc orbs into the core to charge it, pretty simple. To trigger the Heroic, after a wave of adds finally finishes spawning from a lane, it'll be a little while, a taken Blight will appear in that same lane. Shoot it, it doesn't have a lot of health. Do this for all 3 lanes and you will trigger the Heroic. Triggering it is not very difficult. Ether Harvest is also here, where you need to shoot all of the white ether orbs as they float towards a central node. You need to shoot every single one, otherwise you will not get the Heroic. Next up, we have the Saboteur Event. This is an event that is theorized to spawn once every about 45 minutes or so, and is not displayed on the map like a public event would be. In Rhea Sylvia, in the area before the Harbingers seclude, every so often, every about 45 minutes or so, a Saboteur will spawn. You're going to kill this Saboteur, and an arc charge will spawn out of their body. You need to de-exhaust yourself by getting the ball to a safe zone, which is represented by a bunch of blue glowing particle stuff. Note that you can throw the ball to teammates, but if the ball hits anything other than a player, it'll disappear and you'll need to get another. And by get another, I mean you need to kill the Saboteur again. Once you are cleansed, you need to bring the ball to a crystal in the middle of the map, which requires a ton of platforming. You'll see you'll have to jump from platform to platform going all the way up. Once the ball is placed in this crystal node, an ogre will spawn back where the Saboteur spawned. Kill the ogre to win the encounter. To remove the ogre's shields, you need to kill taken knights and wizards so that they drop arc charges. Take those arc charges to those cleansing areas and throw them at the ogre. You can throw non-cleansed charges as well, but they don't really do a lot of damage. In week number 2, the Saboteurs are spawning in a different location. Or maybe they always could have spawned here. Point is, they can spawn here too, in Rhea Silvia. Finally, you may be getting a bounty called Corsair Down. These are SOS beacons that have a certain location listed on them where you'll fight a mini-boss and then turn in the item they drop to the Queen's Guard back in the Devalian Mists. Note that some of the locations listed on the bounty are not listed or shown on the map in-game. For example, the worms are in the Garden of Esila, but the Garden of Esila is not listed on the map.
Thank you.
One more thing, actually, definitely didn't write this in after making the entire video. If you're ever looking for another Queensfoil or Tier 2 Blindwell charges, you can go deep into the Harbinger's Seclude Temple, fall down an elevator shaft, and find these two Ahamkara skulls to trade with. A Queensfoil is 50 planet mats, and a Tier 2 is 25. I think that's a good amount of information about the Dreaming City for now. I imagine things are going to get a little more crazy as we approach the 3rd week and raid time, and I will do my best to cover it as much as possible. I also plan on doing location guides for other collectibles and all that stuff when I manage to actually find the time. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you next time.